Dr. Hansel Park stared through the reinforced glass at her most unusual research subject. The honey badger looked back at her with surprisingly intelligent eyes. This wasn't just any honey badger. This was Dauntless, the first animal to receive the new cognitive enhancement treatment. Amazing, she whispered as she watched Dauntless solve another puzzle box in record time. The small black and white creature had just completed a task designed for advanced primates in less than 2 minutes. The research station's bright lights reflected off the white walls of the laboratory. Floating in Earth's orbit, the Terrestrial Wildlife Space Research Station was humanity's premier facility for studying how Earth's animals might adapt to space travel. Hansel made more notes on her tablet. Subject continues to display problem-solving abilities far beyond baseline species capabilities, she recorded. Social interaction patterns also showing significant advancement. A loud alarm suddenly broke through the quiet of the laboratory. Hansel looked up, startled. The station's emergency lights began flashing red. All senior staff report to the command center immediately. The station's AI announced over the speakers. This is not a drill. Repeat. All senior staff to command center. Hansel gave Dauntless one last look. The honey badger was now sitting up, alert and focused on the flashing lights. I'll be back soon, she told him, though she wasn't sure why she felt the need to explain herself to a honey badger, enhanced or not. In the command center, Security Chief Taiwan Kim was already bringing up holographic displays showing the space around Earth. Hansel joined the small crowd of scientists and military personnel gathering around the main display table. 17 minutes ago, our deep space sensors detected this, Taiwan said, pointing to a cluster of red dots appearing at the edge of the display. A fleet of unknown ships just dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of our solar system. Dr. Jai-Ho Lee, the station's senior physicist, adjusted his glasses as he studied the display. Those energy readings, they're massive. These ships are far more advanced than anything we have. Correct, Taiwan said grimly. And they're heading straight for Earth. We've tried hailing them on all known frequencies, but they're not responding. Hansel felt her heart race. Like everyone else in the room, she had heard the stories. Over the past few years, other civilizations had made contact with humanity, warning them about the stellar dominion, an empire of technologically advanced aliens who considered themselves superior to all other life forms. The room fell silent as a new alert flashed across the screens. A transmission was coming through. The main screen filled with the image of an alien being. It had sleek, metallic-looking skin and multiple eyes arranged in a circular pattern. When it spoke, the station's AI translated its words into English. Lesser species of the planet designated Earth, the alien announced, its tone dripping with contempt. We are the stellar dominion. Your primitive civilization has been deemed unsuitable for independent existence. You will submit to our authority and accept your proper place in the galactic hierarchy. Hansel noticed movement on one of the secondary screens, the feed from her laboratory. Dauntless was watching the transmission through the lab's display screen, showing more focus than she had ever seen from him before. The alien continued its speech about superiority and submission, but Hansel's attention was split between the threat and her research subject's unusual behavior. Dauntless was now moving methodically through a series of behaviors they had previously trained for space adaptation, checking his protective suit's seals, activating its power system, and accessing the emergency exit protocols they had installed for safety testing. As she watched this display of intelligent, purposeful behavior, an impossible idea began to form in her mind. The Stellar Dominion clearly expected to face only human resistance. They knew nothing about Earth's wildlife, and even less about what an enhanced honey badger might be capable of. Hansel raised her hand, interrupting the alien mid-speech. "Before you continue your threats," she said, surprising herself with her steady voice, "perhaps you'd like to learn about some of Earth's other inhabitants." In his reinforced habitat, Dauntless bared his teeth in what almost looked like a smile. The command center of the Terrestrial Wildlife Space Research Station had turned into a war room. Admiral Sun Mai Choi stood at the main display table, her face lit by the holographic images of Earth's defensive fleet. The numbers weren't good. Earth's ships were outnumbered 10-1. "We have 24 hours before they reach Earth's orbit," Admiral Choi announced. "Their technology is far beyond ours. A direct battle would be suicide." Dr. Hansol Park couldn't take her eyes off the screen showing her laboratory. Dauntless was still watching everything through the lab's display, moving with purpose she had never seen before. The enhanced honey badger was gathering his space adaptation equipment, piece by piece. Dr. Jae-ho Lee moved closer to Hansol, his eyes following her gaze to the laboratory feed. "Your honey badger," he whispered. "How smart is it really?" "Smarter than anyone knows," Hansol replied quietly. "The enhancement treatment worked better than we expected. He understands complex situations, solves problems, and learns from everything he sees." Jae-ho adjusted his glasses, a habit he had when thinking deeply. "And the space adaptation training?" "Complete success. Dauntless can operate in zero gravity, use protective suits, and navigate space station systems." Jae-ho's eyes lit up. "Admiral Choi," he called out suddenly, "I have an idea. A crazy idea, but we're desperate enough to consider it." The Admiral turned to face them, her expression stern but attentive. "Go on. The Dominion expects to face human resistance," Jae-ho explained. "Their ships are designed to detect and stop human infiltrators. But what about something they've never encountered before? Something Earthborn but not human?" Hansol understood immediately. "Dauntless," she said. "You want to send in Dauntless." The room fell silent. On the laboratory screen, the honey badger looked up as if he knew they were talking about him. "A honey badger?" Admiral Choi asked, her voice skeptical. "Even an enhanced one?" "Think about it," Jae-ho continued. "Normal honey badgers are already fearless and incredibly tough. They fight animals many times their size. They resist snake venom. They never give up. Now imagine one with enhanced intelligence, space training, and a size small enough to move through maintenance shafts." Dr. Yoon Gai-kang, their cybernetics expert, stepped forward. "We could help," he offered. "My team has been developing stealth technology for small-scale reconnaissance. We could adapt it for the honey badger's protective suit." Hansol watched as Admiral Choi studied the tactical displays. The Dominion ships were moving closer, their formation perfect and intimidating. They had to try something unexpected. "How would we get him aboard their ships?" the Admiral asked finally. "They're supply ships," Hansol said, remembering something from the station's scans. "They're stopping to collect resources from the asteroid belt. We could hide Dauntless in one of the cargo containers." "And once he's aboard," Admiral Choi pressed. "We've installed a neural link in Dauntless as part of his enhancement," Hansol explained. "I can see what he sees, guide him if needed, and he's smart enough to understand complex objectives." The Admiral walked over to the laboratory feed. Dauntless met her gaze through the screen, his enhanced intelligence evident in his focused stare. "A honey badger," Admiral Choi said slowly, shaking her head. "If anyone had told me our best hope would be a honey badger," she straightened up. "Do it. We have no better options. Dr. Park, prepare your operative. Dr. Kang, get that stealth technology ready. Everyone else, we need to make this look like we're preparing for conventional defense." As the room burst into activity, Hansol hurried back to her laboratory. When she entered, Dauntless was already waiting by the door, his protective suit in his mouth. "Ready to make history?" she asked him. Dauntless responded by activating his suit's power system, just as they had practiced so many times before. But this time, it wasn't practice. This time, he was going to war. Dr. Yoon Gai-kang worked quickly in his laboratory, making final adjustments to Dauntless's protective suit. The suit now gleamed with a dark, almost liquid-like coating that would hide the honey badger from the Dominion sensors. The stealth coating responds to thought commands through the neural link. Yoon-gye explained to Dr. Han-Sol Park, when Dauntless wants to be invisible, he just needs to think about it. Han-Sol watched as Dauntless examined his upgraded suit with careful attention. The honey badger touched the new coating with his paw, then looked at the scientists as if asking for more information. Yes, it's safe, Han-Sol assured him. We tested it thoroughly. The station's lights dimmed slightly as a small cargo ship docked at the research station. This was their transport, an automated supply vessel that would join the Dominion's resource collection fleet in the asteroid belt. Security Chief Ta-Won Kim entered the laboratory, carrying a tablet with the latest sensor data. The Dominion's supply ships are exactly where we predicted, he reported. They're gathering metals from the larger asteroids. Our cargo ship will blend in perfectly with their mining operation. Han-Sol knelt beside Dauntless. Remember your training, she said softly. Find their weak points. Cause confusion. Stay safe. She paused, then added, and remember, I'll be with you through the neural link. Dauntless responded by standing up straighter and giving what looked like a nod. The enhancement treatment had made him understand human speech perfectly, though he couldn't speak himself. The team moved quickly to the cargo bay. Their ship contained several large containers of metal ore, the perfect hiding place for one enhanced honey badger in a stealth suit. Dr. Jae-ho Lee monitored the launch sequence, while Han-Sol helped Dauntless into his chosen hiding spot. The honey badger moved with purpose, checking his suit's systems one last time. Neural link test, Han-Sol said, activating her connection. Immediately, she could see through Dauntless's eyes. The view was crystal clear, enhanced by the suit's advanced sensors. She could feel his excitement and determination. Launch in 5 minutes, the station's AI announced. Admiral Sun Le-choi's voice came through the communication system. Dr. Park, are you certain about this? Once we launch, there's no turning back. Han-Sol looked at Dauntless. Through their neural link, she felt his absolute confidence. We're certain, Admiral. Dauntless understands the mission completely. The cargo bay doors opened to the vast darkness of space. Their small ship, loaded with ore and one very special passenger, detached from the station. Through the neural link, Han-Sol watched as their ship approached the asteroid belt. Massive Dominion supply ships moved between the rocks, their robotic mining arms collecting resources. Their ship was tiny in comparison. Approaching Dominion collection zone, Jae-ho reported. Their automated systems are scanning our cargo. Everyone held their breath. This was the crucial moment. Would the Dominion scanners detect anything unusual about their shipment? After a tense minute, Jae-ho smiled. They've accepted our cargo. We're being directed to unload in Bay 7 of their main supply ship. Through Dauntless's eyes, Han-Sol watched as their small ship was drawn into the massive Dominion vessel. The cargo container opened slightly, giving the honey badger a view of his target. The inside of the Dominion ship was a maze of metallic corridors and humming machinery, perfect for a small, clever infiltrator to move around undetected. Operation Honey Strike is now active, Han-Sol announced quietly. Dauntless flexed his claws inside his stealth suit. The Dominion was about to learn why honey badgers had a reputation as the most fearless creatures on Earth. Through the neural link, Dr. Han-Sol Park watched as Dauntless moved silently through the Dominion supply ship's ventilation system. The honey badger's stealth suit worked perfectly. He was invisible to both sensors and eyes. High Commander Du Yan-ba stood on the bridge of the Dominion flagship, reviewing reports from the supply fleet. Everything was proceeding according to plan. Soon, they would begin their conquest of another primitive world. Then the first alarm sounded. High Commander, a junior officer reported, we've lost contact with Laboratory 7 in the supply ship. Do Yen dismissed this with a wave. A minor technical issue. Send a repair team. But it wasn't minor. Through Dauntless's eyes, Han-Sol watched as her enhanced honey badger systematically destroyed the Dominion's biological research labs. He had found their store of experimental weapons, viruses and bacteria designed to target Earth's population. Dauntless knew exactly what to do. He activated the emergency sterilization systems in each lab, destroying the weapons before they could be used. The honey badger's enhanced intelligence let him understand and operate the alien technology with surprising ease. Now 3 more labs have gone dark, another officer reported, and the repair team isn't responding. Du Yun's multiple eyes narrowed. Security breach. Scan for human intruders. The security team searched frantically, but their scanners were designed to detect human biosignatures. They weren't looking for a honey badger. Back on the research station, Han Sol and her team watched through the neural link as Dauntless continued his mission. The honey badger had memorized the ship layouts during his training. He moved with purpose, targeting critical systems. Weapons storage facilities are reporting malfunctions, a Dominion officer announced. Something is tampering with the power systems. Indeed, Dauntless had discovered that the Dominion's advanced weapons needed very specific power settings. Even small changes would make them useless. The honey badger adjusted power regulators as he passed, leaving chaos in his wake. High Commander Du Yun was no longer calm. Reports of failures and malfunctions came from all directions. Security teams ran through corridors, chasing sensor ghosts. Repair crews found systems damaged in ways they couldn't explain. Lock down all sections, Du Yun ordered. Nothing moves without authorization. But Dauntless was already inside the walls and ventilation systems. The Dominion's lockdown meant nothing to him. Even better, the confused crew was now trapped in small groups, unable to coordinate effectively. Han Sol felt pride through the neural link as Dauntless continued his work. The honey badger had found the ship's main communication hub. With careful movements, he began disconnecting key systems, isolating different sections of the fleet from each other. High Commander, a senior officer reported, voice shaking, "We've lost contact with half the fleet. Engineering reports critical system failures across all decks. Medical bay reports crew members experiencing unexplained anxiety and confusion." Du Yun's metallic skin had lost its shine. Impossible. How can one primitive planet cause such chaos? The answer was currently making its way to the flagship's docking bay. Dauntless had studied the fleet's structure. Taking down one ship wasn't enough. He needed to reach the command ship. Through their neural link, Han Sol sent a gentle warning. "Be careful. They'll have stronger security on the flagship." Dauntless sent back feelings of confidence. After all, he was a honey badger, and honey badgers don't back down from challenges. Lieutenant Min Ho Song stood at his monitoring station in the research center, studying the data streaming in from Dauntless's neural link. Something strange had caught his attention. Every time the honey badger moved through a new section of the Dominion ship, the alien crew members began acting oddly. "Dr. Park," he called out, "I think you should see this." Dr. Han Sol Park looked up from her own screens. Through her neural link with Dauntless, she could see the honey badger making his way through another corridor in the flagship. She walked over to Min Ho's station. "Look at these readings," Min Ho said, pointing to his display. The Dominion crew's vital signs change whenever Dauntless passes near them. Their biological readings show high stress, even though they can't see him. Han Sol studied the data carefully. Could it be fear? Maybe they sense him somehow. "I don't think it's that simple," Min Ho replied. He brought up more detailed scans. Their bodies are having a physical reaction to something, almost like an allergic response. Through the neural link, they watched as Dauntless entered a new section of the ship. Immediately, the alien crew members there began showing signs of distress. Some backed away from their posts. Others seemed unable to focus on their tasks. Dr. Jai-Ho Lee joined them at the monitoring station. "What if," he started, then paused to organize his thoughts. "What if the Dominion species is sensitive to Earth's wildlife? We know they've never encountered Earth's animals before." Han Sol's eyes widened. "Pheromones," she said. "Every Earth animal produces them. Could Dauntless's natural pheromones be affecting their biology?" They quickly analyzed the data from multiple encounters. The pattern was clear. The Dominion's crew became increasingly unstable when exposed to the honey badger's natural scent markers, even through his protective suit. Their bodies have never encountered these chemical signals, Jai-ho explained. Their biological systems don't know how to process them. It's overloading their sensory network. Min-ho pulled up new data from the flagship's medical bay. Look at this. Their doctors can't figure out what's wrong. They've never seen anything like these symptoms before. Hansol watched through the neural link as Dauntless continued his mission. The honey badger was now approaching the flagship's main control center. The closer he got to the senior officers, the more chaos spread through the ship. "We need to tell Admiral Choi," Hansol said. "This isn't just about Dauntless's sabotage anymore. We've discovered a fundamental weakness in Dominion biology." Through their secure communication channel, they contacted the Admiral. As they explained their discovery, Admiral Sun Le-choi's expression changed from concern to cautious hope. "You're saying that Earth's wildlife, just their natural biological processes, can disrupt Dominion functions?" she asked. "Yes," Hansol confirmed. "Their bodies can't handle the chemical signals our animals produce naturally. Dauntless isn't just damaging their ships. His mere presence is disrupting their ability to function." The Admiral was quiet for a moment, thinking. "So we've been focusing on matching their technology," she said slowly, "when our real advantage was biological all along." On the flagship, Dauntless continued his advance. Through the neural link, Hansol could sense his growing confidence. The honey badger had figured out the effect he was having on the crew. Now he moved purposefully toward groups of officers, watching with enhanced intelligence as they struggled to maintain their composure. Earth's defensive plans would need to change. They had found an unexpected advantage in the simple biology of their planet's wildlife. The Dominion's technological superiority meant nothing if their crews couldn't function in the presence of Earth's animals. And it had taken one enhanced honey badger to reveal this truth to both sides. Colonel Hai-Jin Ryu moved with purpose through the Earth Defense Force Command Center. The discovery of the Dominion's weakness had changed everything. Now they had a real chance to defend their planet. "Status report on the pheromone containers," she asked the science team. Dr. Jai-ho Lee looked up from his workstation. "Production is at 90%. We've concentrated the natural chemical signals from various Earth animals. Each container holds enough to affect an entire ship's crew." The plan was simple but effective. While Dauntless continued to create chaos on the flagship, Earth's forces would launch a counterattack using their newfound advantage. Through her neural link with Dauntless, Dr. Hansol Park watched as the honey badger reached the flagship's main bridge. High Commander Du Yanba was there, trying to maintain order despite the growing confusion among the crew. "Launch preparations are complete," Lieutenant Min-ho Song announced. "Earth's defensive fleet is in position. Each ship carries the new pheromone delivery systems." Colonel Ryu nodded. "Begin Operation Wild Earth." Earth's ships moved forward in formation. They were smaller than the Dominion vessels, but they didn't need to match the aliens in firepower. They just needed to get close enough to deploy their secret weapon. "First wave, launch pheromone containers," Colonel Ryu ordered. Special pods shot out from Earth's ships, heading toward the nearest Dominion vessels. The aliens, expecting conventional weapons, didn't consider these small objects a threat. That was their mistake. The containers broke open near the Dominion ship's air intake systems. Concentrated pheromones from dozens of Earth species, honey badgers, skunks, wolverines, and more, flooded their environmental systems. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Through the flagship's cameras, they watched as crew members on the affected ships began to lose focus. Some fell to their knees. Others ran in panic from their posts. "Second wave, target their support ships," Colonel Ryu commanded. More containers launched. More Dominion ships fell into chaos. Their perfect formation broke apart as ships began drifting, their crews unable to maintain control. On the flagship's bridge, High Commander Du Yun watched in horror as his fleet fell apart. Then Dauntless made his move. The honey badger dropped from a ventilation duct right onto the main control panel. His stealth suit deactivated, making him visible to everyone. The bridge crew recoiled in shock and confusion, their bodies overwhelmed by the direct exposure to Earth wildlife pheromones. What is this creature? Du Yin demanded, backing away from his command post. Through the neural link, Han Sol could sense Dauntless's satisfaction. The honey badger stood tall on the control panel, his enhanced intelligence clear in his purposeful stance. He was no longer just a test subject. He was Earth's first line of defense. All Dominion ships are reporting severe crew impairment, Minho announced. Their weapon systems are offline. Navigation systems are failing. Colonel Ryu allowed herself a small smile. Send the message. The communication went out to all Dominion ships. Your biology betrays you. Your crews cannot function in the presence of Earth's wildlife. Withdraw now, or we will saturate every ship in your fleet with natural compounds your species cannot tolerate. Through her link with Dauntless, Han Sol watched as High Commander Du Yun's metallic skin paled to a dull gray. The mighty Dominion fleet had been defeated not by superior technology, but by the simple biology of Earth's creatures. Acting Commander Jin Woo Park of the Stellar Dominion sat uncomfortably in the conference room of the Earth Defense Force station. He had gained his temporary position because he was one of the few senior officers still able to function. The room had been specially prepared to minimize the effect of Earth's wildlife pheromones on him. Across the table sat Dr. Han Sol Park, now serving as Earth's lead negotiator. Dauntless lay quietly in a corner of the room, his enhanced intelligence allowing him to understand the importance of this meeting. Through their neural link, Han Sol could sense the honey badger's watchful attention. Your attack on our fleet was unexpected, Jin Woo admitted. His metallic skin had a dull sheen, showing the strain of being near Earth life forms, even with the room's special filters. We didn't want this conflict, Han Sol replied. You came to our system with the intent to conquer. We defended ourselves using the resources we had. Admiral Sun Ma Choi stood near the window, watching the disabled Dominion ships floating in Earth's orbit. Most of their crews were in medical stasis, overwhelmed by exposure to Earth's biological signatures. The Stellar Dominion has never faced such a defeat, Jin Woo said. Our technology is superior in every way. Yet we find ourselves unable to even approach your planet without our crews becoming incapacitated. Han Sol gestured to Dauntless. Would you like to understand why? Our honey badger can help demonstrate. Jin Woo's multiple eyes widened with concern. The creature that infiltrated our flagship. Yes, Dauntless here helped us discover your species' weakness, but he can also help us understand each other better. Han Sol turned to the honey badger. Dauntless, please show our guest your training video. Through his neural link, Dauntless activated the room's display screen. Images appeared showing Earth's diverse wildlife, from tiny insects to large mammals. The video showed how these creatures had evolved together, developing complex chemical signals that allowed them to coexist. Your species developed in isolation, Han Sol explained. You never evolved to handle the biological signatures of Earth's ecosystem. That's why even small amounts of our wildlife's natural chemicals affect you so strongly. Jin Woo watched the video with growing understanding. And this, Dauntless, he was enhanced to demonstrate this. He helped us discover it by accident, Han Sol said. His mission was simply to disrupt your fleet's operations, but his presence revealed something much more important. That our worlds need to find ways to coexist rather than conflict. Admiral Choi stepped forward. We propose a treaty. Earth and its complete biosphere will be declared off-limits to Dominion forces. In return, we will share our research on biological adaptation. Perhaps in time, your people can develop tolerance to Earth's wildlife. Through the neural link, Han Sol felt Dauntless's approval. The honey badger understood that his actions had led to this moment, a chance for peace instead of war. Jinwu looked at the honey badger with new respect. A single Earth creature infiltrated our most advanced fleet and revealed our greatest vulnerability. Perhaps we have much to learn from your world. Then let's start with understanding, Hansol suggested. Would you like to learn more about Earth's wildlife? Under controlled conditions, of course. For the first time, Jinwu's metallic skin showed a flicker of its natural shine. Yes, I believe the Stellar Dominion needs to reassess its view of primitive worlds. Clearly, technology alone does not determine a species' strength. 1 year after the Dominion fleet's retreat, the Terrestrial Wildlife Space Research Station had grown into something much bigger. Dr. Hansol Park stood in the newly built main hall of the Interstellar Wildlife Research Institute, watching as delegates from 20 different alien species toured the facility. Dauntless walked beside her, his enhanced intelligence now fully recognized across the galaxy. The honey badger wore a special diplomatic version of his spacesuit, marked with symbols showing his status as Earth's first animal ambassador. And here we have our main research center, Hansol explained to the visitors. This is where we study how different species react to Earth's wildlife and help them develop safe ways to interact with our ecosystem. The alien delegates watched with interest as scientists worked in specially designed chambers. Each chamber could control the level of Earth's biological signatures, allowing visitors to slowly build tolerance to them. Admiral Sun Choi, now serving as Earth's representative to the Galactic Council, joined the tour. The Earth Wildlife Protection Treaty has changed how the galaxy views biological diversity, she said. Many worlds now seek to understand rather than conquer. Through her neural link with Dauntless, Hansol sensed his satisfaction. The honey badger had grown into his role as a bridge between Earth and alien species. His enhanced intelligence helped him teach other creatures about Earth's wildlife in ways humans never could. In one of the research rooms, Dr. Jai-Ho Lee was working with a group of young Dominion scientists. They wore special suits that filtered out most Earth pheromones, allowing them to study terrestrial animals safely. The Dominion's scientific knowledge has been invaluable, Hansol told the delegates. Their technology, combined with our understanding of biological systems, has opened new fields of research. A small screen on the wall showed news from across the galaxy. The headlines told of other worlds starting their own wildlife research programs. Earth's example had sparked a new appreciation for biological diversity throughout space. In his special corner of the Institute, Dauntless had his own research team. The honey badger helped test new protective systems and taught other enhanced animals how to interact with alien visitors. His success had led to a whole program of enhanced Earth creatures serving as bridges between worlds. To think, Admiral Choi said quietly to Hansol, all of this started because one honey badger refused to back down from an empire. Hansol smiled as she watched Dauntless demonstrate spacesuit controls to a group of fascinated alien scientists. Through their neural link, she could feel his pride in his work and his hope for the future. The Stellar Dominion had changed too. Their ships still patrolled space, but now they carried wildlife researchers instead of weapons. Their former High Commander, Du Yun-ba, had become a leading advocate for peaceful first contact protocols. As the tour ended, Hansol and Dauntless stood at the Institute's observation window. Earth shone below them, its complex ecosystem now recognized as one of the galaxy's greatest treasures. Ships from many worlds orbited safely, their crews protected by technology developed through cooperation rather than conflict. The honey badger pressed a paw against the window, looking out at the stars. Through their link, Hansol felt his simple but profound thought. Earth's wildlife had not just saved their planet. It had helped create a better galaxy for all species.